Hello, I'm Stefan from x-dream-Media. This is an how-to video on our x-dream-Fabrik, the published product. That's our third video, and it's again where we use manually editing for the preparation of publication. Where's the difference? In our earlier video, we had one master video that we've been shortening manually, so we cut out highlights. Now we want to compose a video from individual sources. Here on our screen, I've already opened x-dream-Fabrik, and we have a manual editing workspace. And I will create again a new editing project here in the production in the middle. Content is already uploaded, so we don't need to do that. And let's say we want a video about the IBC invitation. So IBC trade show in Amsterdam. We have been there earlier this year and we've been inviting all our visitors. And so cut the master invite, something like that. It's a work order for the editor that he knows what to do. That creates us an empty project, and here in our asset repository we do have the individual assets from our recordings for the social post that we did. So I do collect some of those as an example for the editing. So there is the video from Joanna, and there is mine, and there is the one from Jutta. And as I have been lazy this very moment, I've used the asset instead of the individual essence, with the consequence that I got the proxy as well. Okay, so I don't need the proxy. Let me delete what we do not need. So, and then we say we send the whole stuff to the editor. What happens, as last time, the video files are now sent from our archive storage, from the repository storage, to the editing storage. In our case, this is different places. And while that happens, we see that the send button is orange. We see the individual files to be moved. And then after just some seconds, that all has happened. We have them all in green. The send status went to green as well. Means we can open the editor right now. So with that click, we do have our videos here. They are currently initialized. Some of them have already arrived. And all we want to do is just a quick and dirty cut right now. One video is already on the timeline. That is Joanna. Let's say we want to shorten that video a little bit, just to give us an idea. Then we have me as another person. And last but not least, let's say we take Jutta. And we take this video as well. By the way, what you see right now, in contrast to our last video, I have not used the two video player mode that is available here on the top right corner, where we can see the sources and the outgoing video. So whatever I click here, it is shown here on the left hand side, and here when I navigate in our output, I see the results of the timeline view on the right hand side. So what I did is, in this case of editing, I've just shortened the sources a little bit. So let's say this is the task to perform. In some other cases, we probably just concatenate sources. We probably trim off the openers and the closers. So this is the idea, what I have done right now. We keep one closer and one opener, but we remove all the others. What else? You remember there was audio, so we can have like a sound floor that we have underlying. We can have transitions. We can have text that we do overlay. Important is that you put it really on the top, because otherwise you won't see it. So let's say from here to there, we do add a text. And yeah, we can manipulate it if we highlight it, and then we go to the editing mode, and we can change the text information. like invite, oops, sorry, to IBC. Then we can change colors and the font and all that things. And finally we are done. All we want to do right now is we render it out. We give it a title, useful to find the video. So we start the rendering, and that takes a moment right now. So in this case, I don't know, probably like 10 to 20 seconds. As you can see, it's quite fast. Once this has happened, we could review the video, adapt it if necessary. We can download it if we like, but in our case, we mainly want to keep it in the system because we want to move onwards to publication. So let's wait a moment, and once this has finished, let's have a look for the result. So here we go. We could download the link. We can see the video. That is what I did just right now. Here we see Joanna starting with our invitation, and then further down the clip, that will be most likely me, and then at the end, Jutta inviting. And by the way, here's the overlay text. So we close that. So, and after we've closed the online editor, we are back to x-dream-Fabrik. And again, here in the middle, we do have the production panel. All the way down, we see that there is a video that was received, and we can preview it here in the solution, and we can then accept it or we can reject it as we need. And let's say we want to accept it, and that gives us the ability here to move the video with drag and drop into our repository. This creates a new video, and as we have done it in the earlier cases, we will receive in a moment a thumbnail, then the low resolution proxy. We have to add some metadata, so let's start with this. So as descriptive metadata, again, we do add a short description, x-dream group invites to IBC show, something like that. Why do we do that? Simply because that makes it faster and easier later on in the publishing. That metadata is then used downstream in the publication panel. Let's have a look for our essences. So we have received the master video. We can also play it already. We should have the thumbnail already. Yes, we have it. What we want to do is we want to create some other video versions. We will receive a proxy, but what we want to have is, again, our, let's say, 9:60 vertical video. By the way, here's the proxy. And if we like, we can start a transcript or face recognition. All of it. Once we have closed the browser editor, we are back to x-dream-Fabrik, and here in the middle we have the production view, so the post-production access. And you remember the view from earlier? What has changed is in the status we can see right now content was sent, it was in production, it was then waiting for approval and even has received here. Approval can happen all the way down because here we have the editing result, and with this kind of camera symbol we can open a preview possibility, and there we can say we want to accept or we want to reject that particular video. In this case we want to accept it, and then if you like we can close it again, and this gives us access to this cross where we can move the content into our repository. Why do we want to do that? This is because that is the place where we will now prepare the publication a little bit. Not much to do. Mainly that we create the video versions that we need for the social posts, and we do create the metadata that we need. Let's start with the metadata. All we need for the social post is some descriptive metadata, and for that reason I'm adding a short description. So for instance, like that is x-dream group NVCO to IBC show. And as you can see, Joanna has shown up here as the first frame of that clip. Means most likely when we go to essences, we do see that, yeah, the thumbnail was created already. And then a little bit later in the videos, we will receive the browsing proxy. Should show up in some seconds, but we don't want to wait. We use the master and we want to create the vertical video as well. So the 9:16. By the way, here's the proxy. Can open that. Can see that has a smaller resolution. Yeah, and then in a moment we will get the additional versions for the vertical video. Now we are nearly done. Last step again is the publication. We don't need the details view. All we need is that we want to create a new publishing job. So in this case, it's again obviously the same name. So like this. And let's say we go to the website and we go to YouTube, and because of this is something business-like, we go to LinkedIn and we take our invitation video, or to be more precise, it's the complete asset. Then for the preview, we say, okay, we want to use the proxy for that. By the way, here you can see the vertical video was created already. We can again review it and again approve it if necessary. We can set in and out points. But here we are ready. All we want to do now is we say save. That creates us a new publication job. Here it is. And as we can see, the metadata that was prepared is already here. We have it on the website, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. By the way, if you go to, for instance, X or Twitter, then text is automatically shortened. For YouTube, we are now asked to give a category as well. So let's say this is kind of like a news type of content. For the website, again, we have to set a category that makes it to show it up in the right place. We can have a scheduling point in time. So we say don't do it immediately, but do it today at, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the evening. Is it here? And all we say is save, and then that should give us access to the publish button. Here we press publish, and then again the same happens as we know from the earlier videos. Content goes to the cloud, and from the cloud to the social media platforms. This is how we can use x-dream-Fabrik Publish in the manual editing mode when we have individual sources that we want to join to a publication video. Thank you so much for watching.